Just 1 minute. Yeah, I think now it is best. Perfect. So let's continue the discussion on the the pending clauses. So already we started with professional ethics and we have completed, technically speaking, more than half of the chapter. In the last 1.5 hours, we have already completed more than half. Let's now continue the remaining clauses. What are the clauses that we completed already? Clause 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 11 we completed. Totally 6 clauses we completed. 12 and 11 also we completed, right? Now let's understand. Even 10 also 10 also completed. 7 clauses we completed. Don't worry, at the end of the chapter I will do revise all the clauses and establish one mind mapping within your mind. Okay, yeah, clause 10 also done. Yes, correct. So now let's begin with the next clause, that is clause number 9. Where a CA is treated as guilty of misconduct if at all he is accepting audit of a company without checking compliance with Companies Act. Very simple. A company approached you to conduct audit of that company. As a stat auditor, they want to appoint you as an auditor. You blindly accepted without checking anything. You are treated as guilty. And for your information, you are supposed to check this as per even SQC. In fact, as per SQC standard, acceptance and continuation of client relationship, this is something that you must verify. Yes or no? Without verifying SQC compliance, how did you accept a client? Which is absolutely a failure. So, if at all you accepted a company without checking SQC, it also amounts to gap failure. When it amounts to gap failure, clause number 9, part number 1, schedule 2 also will attract. Please be clear. In exam, in professional ethics, you must always write all the relevant clauses applicable, because sometimes when the same question be asked in the exam, they may also talk from SQC point of view as one more point in the suggested answer, and that time if you do not write about that clause number 9 gap, where if you do not recollect SQC, obviously you will do mistake. And always the incoming auditor must verify with the company that the correct procedures are followed. So whenever a company appointed you are the incoming auditor, the previous one is outgoing auditor. You should ensure whether company has followed correct procedure or not. And you know what, here you need to verify certain points, basic points you need to verify. What are the things that you need to verify? Board resolution, minutes of the general meeting, notice of general meeting, whether central government approval is there if at all outgoing auditors was removed by the company before expiry of the term, qualifications, disqualification, certificate you should get a management that they have complied with all the above sections. It's a requirement in Companies Act also. You need to get a certificate from the management that they have complied with all the sections, and you need to communicate with outgoing auditor as per clause number 8. That's it. We'll discuss clause number 8. And in ICAI book they have given in page number 119th chapter. In ICAI book, go to 69th page in the 19th chapter and 73rd page. In these 4-5 pages there is a discussion about different scenarios. Suppose government company first auditor resigned and you were appointed under casual vacancy. What points you need to check? Suppose government auditor, subsequent auditor resigned, you appointed under casual vacancy. Non-government company auditor was resigned. How do you verify? Like the different permutations and combinations of Companies Act, change of auditors, that and all was tested. You need to verify that. And remember, there is another section which is 140 subsection 4. Suppose if a company is appointing other than this point sorry, this point is something which many students don't understand. Very simple. Here 140 subsection 4 is talking about what? Very simple. Company sent an AGM notice. Listen to the carefully. If you are having a doubt, repeat it once again. If at all you feel that I'm talking at speed, 0.85x speed you watch. Okay, rather than standard speed, reduce the speed, you will understand everything. Now company sent an AGM notice. What notice contains? Already our existing auditor is there, 5 years over, we want to appoint another 5 years. They sent a notice. Now shareholders, they gave a special notice to the company saying this auditor we should not appoint. Fine, that special notice we received, right? Objection of shareholder, that also company has to forward to everybody. Now on this particular special notice, our auditor, whoever is there at existing, we want to appoint him, he also want to continue, right? He gave a written representation. That representation also circulated to all the members. Now I'm sorry, yeah, now the members are having 3 documents. AGM notice is there, special notice is there, written the auditors, whoever is there, his written representation is there. they will come to AGM and decide. Suppose if they believe company, then they will appoint the same auditor. Suppose if they believe shareholders predominantly believe special notice, who issued special notice, then they will not appoint the retiring auditor. Whoever is auditor is then who is under reappointment, the shareholders may not appoint him. That time management will have a plan B auditor, so that auditor will be appointed. That's it. Now, whenever where an auditor, where I'm sorry, where an auditor, even though he is willing for reappointment but not reappointed because of a special notice and all, he shall file a statement with the ICAI, yes or no, which the company has to send among the shareholders also. The written representation you are giving to the company, right, for circulation, that written representation copy shall also be filed with the institute. It shall be obligatory for incoming auditor before accepting appointment to obtain a copy of the communication from the company, like whoever outgoing auditor gave a written representation, right? For example, shareholder special notice won. That won actually. The reason for which special notice is given, that ultimately won the game. In the sense, the retiring auditor was not reappointed, a new auditor was appointed. The new auditor has to see the written representation and consider the points that are there. That's why anyhow, whether a retiring auditor not reappointed, or an auditor resigned, or an auditor was removed, or an auditor retired in the AGM normally because expiry of term is there, in all these cases, the incoming auditor must communicate with outgoing auditor. That's what clause number 8 is talking about. And ethical standard board has a power to call for such other information as it may require from the incoming auditor as well as outgoing auditor and the company, and they can even make a report to the council if at all it considers necessary. Remember, I told you what is council. 32 members will be there, 8 nominated members, 32 elected members, totally 40 council members will be there. And these council members will be forming part of peer review board, various other boards, accounting standard board, auditing standard board, like that, so many. Yes or no? And next, so with this, clause number 9 is completed. Very simple. Okay, clause number 9 is completed. Inside this, there is one more point. There is one more point: unjustified removal of auditor. They may ask you in exam, write about guidelines issued by ICAI regarding unjustified removal of auditors. They may ask you like this: what are the guidelines issued regarding unjustified removal of auditor? They may ask you a specific question like that. In such a case, simple, where the auditor resigned, he shall send a communication in writing to board of directors along with reasons. Further, he should communicate it to the institute. Further, if an auditor is not offering for reappointment, like company want to reappoint you, but you're not willing to get reappointed, why you don't want to get reappointed? You need to communicate to institute. Further, the incoming auditor is there, right? You are not reappointed. You resigned or you are not reappointed because you only resigned from the company. You only did not continue. Yes or no? Further, the further incoming auditor, it shall be obligatory on the incoming auditor before accepting appointment to get a copy of the communication which resigned auditor gave to board, or the auditor, he is not willing to go for reappointment, right? He would have given some notice to the company, he would have given some letter to the company. That also the incoming auditor must consider before accepting an appointment. These guidelines were given as a part of unjustified removal of auditor. If at all previous auditor was unjustifiedly removed by the company, on that some guidelines were given. That time itself, various other guidelines were also covered. Resignation guidelines were covered there only. 140 subsection 4 guidelines were covered there only. ESB related powers guidelines also covered there only. So entire this unjustified removal of auditor is a very big guideline. Further, in clause number 8, you might have seen, suppose if the previous auditor was removed in an unjustified manner by the company without giving a proper opportunity of being heard, incoming auditor should not accept the audit. In fact, in council guidelines, one point is there: undisputed fees not paid or retiring auditor was unjustifiedly removed, incoming auditor should not accept that particular audit. So I hope you are aware of it, you remember that. Yeah, that's it. Next, clause number 8, very important clause and very simple clause also. What is clause number 8? If a chartered accountant accepts the position of an auditor previously held by another chartered accountant without communicating him in writing, if at all a chartered accountant is accepting another auditor position, simple, this particular clause number 8 is applicable for all types of audits: internal audit, concurrent audit, branch audit, central audit, stat audit, non-stat audit, voluntary audit, any audit, tax audit, any audit, but does not apply for special audits. Or a special audit itself means very rare it will be there. That too under some laws and regulations. Cooperative society has special audit requirement. There is no other law that we deal with that requires special audit. Okay, Fine. Simple. Last time the audit was performed by chartered accountant in practice. Now the company is approaching you and they are now appointing you. Do not accept the appointment without first communicating him in writing. You must communicate him on a prior basis in writing and then only accept the appointment. Why you need to communicate? What are the reasons? A professional courtesy alone is not the reason for communication. The objective of the communication is to protect independence of the members. The incoming auditor should inquire other reasons why they should not accept the appointment. Why? Is there any other reason? So only if I communicate with previous auditor, I will know why the company is changing the auditor. Generally, common reasons for a company to change auditor. Directly a 4 marks question will come. What are the common reasons? Give you examples why a company change will auditor. Basically client has a right to choose their own auditor. That's client's discretion. Yes or no? Because of clashes between the auditor, dissatisfaction, death of the auditor, venue change of the auditor, all that. And the retiring auditor, always, whenever a company is willing to change auditor, you should always accept with a good grace. Okay, then suppose sometimes fees dispute, that could be the reason. The auditor might feel not enough the audit fees, or company might feel they are paying over fees. So is some issue, fees issue. This is common reason. Yes or no? But it does not constitute a professional reason for rejecting the new appointment. For example, company is not paying me enough fee, and now they found another auditor where the auditor can do at service at a lesser price, for example. Okay, and the auditor this auditor, he should not reject it. Further, there are some guidelines for there. If at all the incoming auditor is accepting an audit for a fees lower than the outgoing auditor, is there any independence compromise? Why there is such lower fees accepting? There must be substantiate reasons. Getting it? Generally, you should not accept the audit at a lower fee. So that is also one more point. Okay. Further, if statutory audit fees is unpaid, for example, sir, previous auditor fees not yet paid by the company, sir, can I accept the appointment? You can accept it, but the council guideline says you should not. In reality, generally we accept, because the outgoing auditor in the company has a very good relationship, for example. So that is their matter of contract. We generally accept. But if at all fees is not paid, get NOC for that also. Sir, can I accept the audit because your fees is pending? Can I accept? Yes. If at all he give NOC, proceed. But basically, as per council guidelines, you should not accept the audit. Further, remember, your incoming auditor, your position you should maximum use and help settle the dispute regarding fees. Okay, whatever outgoing auditor fees is the right pending from the company, settle that as much as possible. And remember, this type of clause 8 communication is required for all types of audit. Mandatory communication when the previous auditor is a chartered accountant practice. Sir, previously it's a non-stat audit, sir. Previously CA did not perform, sir. Now company appointed me as an auditor who is a chartered accountant, sir. Should I communicate with a non-CA also? It is a good practice to communicate. Whether you communicate or not is your choice. But with a CA in practice, if at all previously held the audit position, you must communicate. Next, what about government audits? This specifically was asked as a question in the recent November 24 or May 24 exam. Now, specifically government companies and banks, specifically for government companies and bank, if there is no enough time to wait, see, generally what this standard says, get NOC. A company appointed you previously some other auditor was there, get NOC from him. If at all he gives NOC, happily accept and proceed for no problem at all. Okay, suppose government did not give you enough time. For example, they gave you appointment letter, 15 days time only they gave you to accept. You sent a mail to previous auditor. He is not responding to you. You can give a conditional acceptance. Final acceptance is depending upon objections raised from outgoing auditor. Mention that in the acceptance letter. And in the acceptance letter, you should clearly specify that acceptance is subject to professional obligation from previous auditor and will be finalized after considering information all that from them. Getting it? Then all that is very easy. Then objective of communication with the retiring auditor. Very simple. Why you need to communicate? What is the necessity? Maybe previous auditor would have given some qualified opinion, or he is not wishing to continue due to some business issues, all that. So ask why you need to communicate. Ask them, only then you will know it. A retiring auditor may share insights about clients' accounts, which incoming auditor must consider. You must carefully consider all facts before deciding acceptance of that particular audit. And if at all he is not responding without a valid reason, or he is not responding without a reasonable period of time, you can proceed accepting the client after waiting for reasonable period of time to avoid deadlock. Suppose if at all the question is regarding government entities, then you must write this point only. Getting it? For government entities and all, if there is no enough time bound, okay, so conditional acceptance, that and all given only in the context of government entities, conditional acceptance point. Whereas for non-government entities, there is no such timeline, all that is given. Conditional acceptance situation is discussed only for government entities. Be careful. Next, method of communication with retiring auditor. How you can communicate? Sir, I just posted him, sir. Our article went to that office and just gave to somebody this document and then came, sir. No, certificate of posting alone is not sufficient. Rajasthan High Court said certificate of posting is not sufficient. It is not a proof of delivery. Then what is required? The following methods of communication is permitted, which is a positive evidence of delivery: registered post acknowledgement due, hand delivery, email acknowledgement, email also to who, to which mail ID you should send? Registered mail ID or last known official mail address. Registered mail ID means mail ID registered with database of the ICAI. To that mail ID you send. That is also treated as a proper delivery. Or last known mail is there. Like, so for example, the outgoing auditor, with the company, he communicated through some one mail ID. That is also permitted. Last known mail ID, that is also permitted. And you ask UDIN portal also, or when you are communicating with retiring auditor, right? You put your UDIN on communication. He is giving NOC, right? He may also put UDIN on NOC. So that's their choice. Okay, UDIN. But better you communicate with UDIN. Able to understand, better you communicate and ask him also to give UDIN. That's it. Further, suppose we communicated, we sent a registered post with acknowledgement due, but office was locked. We assume that it is deemed to be delivered. Sir, the address is there, right? Registered address. Office itself is not there, sir. It is deemed to be delivered. That's it. Easy. Clause number 8 is over. Once again repeat it, you will understand. Under clause number 8, very simple. You just have to get NOC. That's it. Next. Then we have clause number 5, 6, 7. Once these 3 clauses are completed, entire this part number 1, schedule number 1 is completed. Okay. Then what 5, 6, 7 clauses are talking about? What clause 5, 6, 7 is talking about? Clause 5, 6, 7 is talking about what? Clause number 5. Prohibition on securing professional business. What is it? A CA, you are treated as guilty of professional misconduct if at all you are securing professional business through some other person who is not an employee, who is not a partner. Indirectly, what are they saying? Suppose if my employee is bringing a client, I can take it. If my partner is bringing a client, I can take it, provided, again here, one implied assumption. They are bringing your client. They are bringing you the client by following advertisement guidelines. Your partner is bringing the business by following council advertisement guidelines. It should not violate of clause number 6 and clause number 7. Or if at all CA is securing business by means not open to a chartered accountant, then you are treated as guilty. If at all you are getting clients through some non-employee, non-partner. If at all employee partner is bringing, no problem. Other than employee, other than partner, if somebody else is bringing you the clients, some agent you appointed, an agent you appointed, a marketing agent you appointed, if at all he is bringing you the clients, you are treated as guilty. Or you are getting a clients by means not permitted. What is a mean which is not permitted? For example, as a chartered accountant in practice, I should not do YouTube videos and gain popularity, and get clients. Practice related YouTube videos and all, I'm prohibited to do. Don't say me, sir, but so many videos are there on YouTube, many CAs and all appearing. They are saying CAs, phone numbers, everything they are giving. Reality is different, theory is different. For you should write only this answer in exam. Okay, we are discussing entire this ethics for your information, students. We are only discussing this from exam point of view. Reality is different. Okay, I know, I hope you know the reality. You are all articles, right? You might have seen already so many incidents. Okay, so that's a different story. And next, the institute ultimately objective is what? You must seek professional work with talent, skill and reputation. Canvassing is prohibited. Canvassing is strictly prohibited. That's it. This quote and all is too much. It's like a double meaning quote. Okay. Fine. Next. Clause number 6. Prohibition on solicitation. So clause number 5 says what? By a non-member, non-partner, you should not get a client. By means not open to CA, you should not get a client. Indirectly, what are the means not open to CA in clause number 5? Clause number 6 is talking about that only. Clause number 7 is talking about that only. What clause number 6 says? Clause number 6 is saying what? Prohibited. Chartered accountant is prohibited from soliciting the clients through circular, advertisement, personal communication, interview, or any other means. Any other means what? Website, e-commerce, third party platform, so many means were there. Yes or no? Interviews, conferences, these are all other means not permitted. Whether you call it a circular, advertisement, personal interview, any means is not at all permitted. And remember, you can happily request exceptions. You can happily request from another CA in practice the work. You can even respond to tenders. Remember, you should not call the prospective client and say that I am a CA, sir, I can offer. You should not offer. Sir, they called you, you can respond. Sir, a company opened a tender, sir, they openly gave a public notice, tender. Can I at least respond to that, or that is also prohibited? Prohibited. If at all that work is exclusively reserved for CAs. You know, I'll show you. Wait. Tender guidelines. Tender guidelines. Original rule. Member cannot respond to tenders which are exclusively reserved for chartered accountants. Array, that work can only be done by CS. For example, a company gave a public tender stating we are looking for statutory auditors. Okay, whoever is interested can make application to this. Array, that's the only work reserved for CS. You should not. He should approach you. Suppose no, the fees is clearly prescribed. The fees is clearly prescribed in the we are looking for chartered accountants as a stat auditors where the fees is with 10 lakhs plus 2 lakhs allowances. 12 lakhs. Fees is fixed already. Now you can respond. Suppose his fees is not fixed where negotiation will take place. There you should not respond. Suppose a company posted a public notice. We are looking for internal auditors. The following candidates can apply. CS with practice, cost accountant, company secretary, MBA finance. Oh, this is not exclusively reserved for CA. This you can respond whether fees is there or not. The tender is open to any other professional. So tender document you can respond if it is exclusively reserved to CA provided fees is quoted. Sir, the tender document, no, the tender is for anybody, sir. Anybody can respond. Then you also can respond. That's open. Company only openly posted. Yeah, that's an open offer to you also. So you can respond. Without company posting an offer, it may be a public offer or it may be a private offer to you. You should not go and approach. Either some private offer must be there to you or a public offer must be there to you. A public notice or privately they would have requested you. Then you can respond. You can't voluntarily on your own go there and then request them, sir, I'm an auditor, I have so much of experience. No, you should not do that. Next. And you know, further in tender guidelines, this is actually continuation. Within the tender guidelines regarding EMD security deposit is there. In EMD, the council does not interfere with EMD or security deposit unless there are complaints or exorbitant deposits. Generally, we have one practical question. We have one practical question. In the question bank, if you go and check, you will find it. You know, EMD security deposit is accepted in non-audit services generally. Non-audit works only. Generally, if the work is not reserved exclusively for CSO, and if a government organization want to give you one service and they want an EMD, earnest money deposit or security deposit and all, we give only in case of non-audit services, not in audit services. That was actually the original council guidelines. Okay, in that particular practical question, it is there in the question bank. You can find, and you know, you must maintain cost sheet. You must maintain details of persons involved. And the cost sheet must be made available if the institute is asking for any information. If at all institute is asking any information and you did not maintain the information, you fail to supply the information called by the institute, you are treated as guilty under part number 3, clause number 1. Failing to respond to the institute, you are treated as guilty in part number 3, schedule number 1. It's a professional misconduct by members generally, that there you will be punished. Fine. Next. Can a CA publish books and articles? Absolutely, you can mention. You know, you can mention that you are a chartered accountant. Even firm name can be included. You see, now this is the culprit point. This is one, you know, culprit in the sense, some places they will say firm name can be included. At some places they will say firm name cannot be included. I will show you where firm name cannot be included. Sir, can a CA give greeting cards, invitations, like he's going for, he's having a marriage, sir. He want to distribute marriage cards to family members, friends, relatives, all that. Can he? Absolutely. In that, you can even use the word designation. Even firm name can be used. No problem at all. Yes or no? Okay. But remember that greeting card, marriage invitation, ceremonies and all, you can only give to clients, relatives, friends. Publicly, you should not distribute. On an open social media channels, you should not post. I know. You might have seen your friend is posting about his marriage, all that's practicing CA on social media. We can't do anything. That's why I told reality is different. This is different. Next up. Can a CA advertise celebrations? No. However, Silver jubilee, golden jubilee, diamond jubilee, all that, no, it can be published in a newspaper where it's only a statement of fact. Next, can ICAI sponsor any sports event, cultural events? You should not. But ICAI will organize some events, right? That you can sponsor. You know, in that, no, individual name, CA member name can be given, but firm name or CA logo cannot be used. You see why? Array, you know, like you see in a book, no, that you are publishing, which is open for everybody in the market, there your firm name can be used. Whereas within the institute I am sponsoring, you know, institute means institute organizes cricket. As a CA in practice I am sponsoring. There I should not use my firm name. What is the logic? That's a problem. This kind of inconsistency. See, now I will tell you the logic. These are all not rules, man. These are all not rules. These are various judgments given by disciplinary directorate, disciplinary committee, board of disciplines in various years in different scenarios. So is it 100% always true? Sir, I'm sponsoring one particular cricket event, sir, in ICAI. I told branch manager of ICAI particular, you know, council, regional council is organizing, sir. I only sponsor t-shirts, everything, entire that branch related, empire cost, everything I only sponsored, sir. My firm name is also mentioned on the t-shirt, sir. They accepted it. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. What is given in the book is different from what really is done. In reality, it is permitted also. Technically speaking, ICAI don't have any objection. Okay. This is a judgment based on one particular case where some other mistake also there. But that full matter, no, in the ethics book they will not give full matter. That's a problem. That's a mistake in ICAI book. These are all mistakes technically speaking. But what to do? The same answer will be given in the suggested answer. That's the reason the same mistake we should also carry. Fine. I hope I told you enough reason clearly. If at all you did not understand why in ethics some inconsistencies were there, you please once again watch this particular last 5 minutes. Next. Sir, a new client is there, sir. He's asking me my firm profile, sir. Can I share it, sir? You can share. You can share. But don't share without he asking. Unless as a response he asked you, you are responding. That is permitted. Without he is asking, don't share it. Next. Sir, in television and for some movies, we are we are the one who maintains. The producer want to give our name also, sir. He want to keep everybody's name, whoever assisted in the movie. Can he give about our names also? Yes. Just like how other names come, your name also should come. Your name should not come like a superstar, mega star, like that. Your name should not come like very big, glowing lights. Special attraction should not be there. That's it. Next. All that is fine. And again, for example, another member, your friend is there who is a CA, he introduced his client to you. You should not grab it. If at all that client approaches you, Array, I'm not satisfied with your friend, I want to come with you and I want to come, to your, I want to become your client. You have to handle all the works for me. Like that he's saying. You should first get approval of that particular friend. You should tell him that, sir, please inform my previous, your previous CA is there, right? Please inform him. That's a professional courtesy for us. Then public interview. Can you give public interview? When you are giving public interview, do not publicize or do not highlight your achievements and all. Only response can be given. The interviewer asking something, you can, yes, you can just only give a factual response. And advertisement in box numbers. Very olden days, this box number culture is very popular. In advertisement, suppose in newspaper, one advertisement we give. What advertisement? Best CA firm in Chennai, best CA firm in Bangalore, best CA firm in Hyderabad. Okay, a best firm in South India having branches in 4 cities. Okay, is offering IT return services, tax audit services at 9999, 9,999 rupees only. Limited period offer. For details, contact box number, post box number 1519. Contact post box number 5559. Like that we mentioned, for example. Now, like anybody, whoever sees that advertisement, he will contact the newspaper company. Sir, there's some advertisement I saw. Then the newspaper company will share me. This concept is called as box number advertisement. That's it. Educational video. Can a CA in practice make educational videos? Absolutely. He can make, no problem at all. But you should not make reference about the firm where you are a partner. Array, at some places you can say firm name can be given. Books and all I can give my firm name. Suppose I wrote a book, tax, income tax book. In that I can talk about my firm name. No problem. But when I make an education video on YouTube, I should not use firm name. What is this? In my marriage card, wedding card, everywhere I can use my firm name. At some other places I should not use. What is this? Now immediately some student, sir, class number 6 is over. Sir, what about website guidelines? What about some other guidelines, website and all? That and all we will discuss as part of council guidelines at last. Okay, we'll do one thing. Now itself we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead now itself. Why to delay? Okay. In the same book, come back to the last, come back to the council guidelines. Just a minute. So yeah, council guidelines started. Council guidelines for advertisements. Okay. So there is a separate topic for us in our book. It is 20th concept in professional ethics topic. So can a member advertise through write-up? Yes, you can advertise. Write-up is a very old method, where write-up is an advertisement in a newspaper, where we simply mention one box. Inside that box, our name of the firm, who are the partners, brief details will be there. That's it. Okay. So write-up can be permitted. Write-up is permitted. Only thing is what, you should not use all this, do not include achievements, monograms, catchy words and all, not permitted. Write in such a way that does not bring disrepute. You should not contain, we are very good firm compared to many other CAs. You should not say that. Okay. You should not have exaggerated claims. So you, honesty and truthfulness must be there in the facts that you are disclosing. This is called write-up related guidelines. Okay. And font size should not exceed 14. All that is fine. What are the permissible contents of write-up? There is a discussion in ICAI book, 129 pages are not required from exam point of view. So any 1 or 2 points which we skipped in this particular material, we gave a reference. We skipped it only because it is not required, unnecessary. Next. And by the way, remember, is in the professional ethics only like this it's there. In rest of all of the chapters, the goat notes, whatever the goat notes that I am using, rest all the chapters, 100% syllabus is covered. Even this also we covered literally 95%. Yeah, 99% we covered technically. Can a CA firm have a website? Obviously, no problem at all. But the website should work only on pull model. The moment I say best chartered accountant, my website is coming up. It should not be like that. It should only work on pull mode, but not a push mode. Pull mode means only when the member types full address name, it should open. Okay. Then website should not contain any solicitation. Okay. You have selected the right CA firm. Become our client. Experience, top-notch audit quality. That and all should not be there. Website address should not be distributed via email, bulk SMS to anybody. You cannot use circulars, ads. Web address, you cannot, website cannot be included. Of course, website name can be included on stationery, visiting card, all that is permitted. Sir, what are other things? Can I disclose client names and all on the website? Never. Required by only regulator. Suppose if a regulator says you must disclose, then only disclose it. That too, if at all you are disclosing because of regulatory requirement, see that it is only those requirements, whatever the law and regulation says, only those details you mention. Further, at the end, you must give a disclaimer stating that the disclosure is because of the requirement of so and so regulator. Getting it? Then the website can contain passport photos of the partner. You should not contain partner went to some foreign trip, foreign photos, family member photos. No, you should not contain. It may include details of articles, professional updates, bulletin records, education videos, all that. Chat rooms can also be provided, but maintain confidentiality. You can maintain your you can link your website to social media pages like Instagram and all. I can link my website, no problem. I can give online advices also if at all a client is requesting. Okay. No banner ads in the website and all. Google ads and all should not come. Very important. Okay. It must reflect dignity of the profession. However, link to ICAI, regional council, income tax law, all that can be given. Yes or no? And website information must match with ICAI records. ICAI has whatever data about you, the same should be there. And website should be close to firm's name. That's why many of your firm's name website you see BSR & Co. For example, bsr.com, bsrandco.com, like that will be there. Okay. Can a CA register on a third-party platform like Urban Company? Of course, right now Urban Company does not allow. Just like Amazon and Flipkart, some service-related apps were there. Can I register? Prohibited. Prohibited straight away. Sorry. That is regarding aggregator model. Yeah, application-based service providers aggregator. Can I see a register in an aggregator? No. You cannot. You cannot register. Members cannot list themselves where other categories of businessmen and all were there. Sir, for example, there is an app, sir, which is only exclusively for CS, sir. ICAI has not yet given any guidelines on that. That's it. Next. Now, can a CA provide services in a third-party platform? For example, Clear Tax, Taxman. There are many other consulting websites were there. In that, some expert advice will be given. Like any public, if they have a doubt, they can open that website and then make a request about the doubt which they have. Experts will reply. That's what the advertisement will be. They don't say chartered accountants will reply. They won't say that. Are you getting it? Sometimes, suppose a CA is replying. Suppose you are replying from back end. You are replying. you can mention your name and designation that you are a chartered accountant. I think that can be mentioned. Okay, but contact address of the CA should not be provided. Phone number cannot be provided. Website, your website address and professional achievement cannot be provided. Getting it? And the name of the chartered accountant firm would not be permitted. Firm name can be permitted. You can state that you are a chartered accountant, no problem. That's it. Okay, next. Sir, can I publish about my firm name, my name in a telephone directory, all that? Absolutely, yes or no? So, but it should only come under CA's section in the directory. Okay, and the telephone directory must belong to the same city where you are actually practicing. It is listed alphabetically, and your name should not stand out. Okay, especially all that. Next, directories for limited circulation, that is a normal thing. Can I publish name and address in advertisement? Okay, yeah, you know, you can advertise for recruiting staff for your own office, or on behalf of client you're recruiting staff, for that also you can advertise, or for sale of business or property where you're acting as a trustee, liquidator, receiver. In that case also you can do that. In all cases, no, it should not be prominent than usual. If you're requiring articles, it should be like a classified simple advertisement. Okay, member's name or firm name should not appear in bold type. Firm name can be there, but bold letters, highlights and all should not be there. Next, you should avoid phrases like a well-known firm, all that. You should not include any promotional content. That's it. Advertisement guidelines are completely done. Now let's go back to clause number 6. Now let's go back to clause number 6. Yes, sorry, clause number 7. Clause number 7. Sorry. Once clause number 7 is over, so part number 1 will be over. Major ethics syllabus will be over. Then we'll be left with very few topics. Very few topics. Yes. Just a minute. So, just 1 minute. I'll have water. I hope you are able to get more clarity on ethics. Another 1 hour will wind up this ethics chapter. Yes. And clause number 7, that is also linked with 6 and 5. Remember, when 6 clause is applicable, 5 and 7 most of the times applicable. Very simple. 6 is applicable when you're doing something that is indirectly a solicitation. Clause number 7 is specifically applicable especially when you are advertising professional attainments, or when you're advertising the services that you offer, or when you're using designation other than chartered accountant on professional document, visiting cards, whatever. But remember, you can mention a degree from a university, membership of ICAI you can of course mention, or any other institution related membership which is recognized by central government, that can be mentioned. And remember, a member can mention as insolvency professional registered valuer on all professional documents along with chartered accountancy designation. I already told, section 7. Write up related is already discussed before. Prohibited designations, it's a very simple thing. Corporate lawyer, nothing, you can't use anything. Next, very important, foreign qualification. Can a member mention titles of membership of foreign institute? Generally, many students think that I can mention, many students think that we can mention any qualification. No, only 3 foreign qualifications you can mention. SAICA, South African Institute of Chartered Accountant, CPA Ireland you can mention, and Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, ICAEW, that you can mention. Next, you should not mention date of starting your practice. You can mention year of starting the practice on this one, letterheads, website, all that can contain year of setting up practice. Next, just a minute. Yeah, hello, yeah. Next, now, can a member practice as a company secretary or cost accountant? If at all they permit you, yeah, you can practice. Get permission from ICAI, get permission from them. You can practice everywhere, and even then you will be considered as full-time practice under ICAI. not an issue. Okay, then can we give a notice about examination success of our article students or employees? Yes, you can give, not an issue. Okay, but undesirable publicity you should avoid. Press notices about individual examination success should avoid undesirable publicity. Undesirable way you should not. You can give a basic notice that, you know, we congratulate our article so and so. A well-known firm is congratulating article, that is not permitted. Okay, you can include basic candidates like candidate name, examination passed, what is the price, firm name, town, that's it. Then can a CA appear on electronic media, social media, all that? Yes, absolutely, you can use, not an issue. You can give lectures also, you can even describe that you are a chartered accountant, you know, but generally firm name should not be used. You should not even make exaggerated claims. Next, publicity for appointment and views. Publicity is allowed for appointments to important position, views on important matters. Members may mention their membership. Here you are getting publicity for the institute and its members. Firm name should not be referenced. For example, no, our firm partner was recruited by one central government body. In SEBI, he became a director. By recognizing his service, government gave Padma Shri, or government gave something, and I want to congratulate him. Here I want to publicity. I want to do some publicity. You can do, which is something good reputation to the profession. Again, it should not be like an advertisement of your firm, should not be there. It should be like, we chartered accountant fraternity should flourish because of the advertisement. So that way you can do, not an issue. Next, can a CA organize training courses for staff, client staff, all that? You can conduct. Okay, but but you should not give undue prominence to their name in the related booklets and documents. Can a CA write articles in a newspaper, all that? Absolutely, you can even describe that you are a chartered accountant. Sometimes even firm name is also allowed, not an issue. Signboard. Sir, can a CA have a name board outside the office? Big name board, I want to be very big flexi. Not permitted. Okay, members can use any color, good taste when deciding the size of the signboard, but it should not be too aggressive. Glow signs not permitted. Name board, no, with a chartered accountant, that is allowed. Yeah, allowed. At firm name you can mention happily. At residential place also you can mention only chartered accountant. Firm name should not be there at residential place. We already know this. Then, you know, you are a director in a company, and the company, you know, is publishing a prospectus about prospectus, in that they are including your name, and they are also mentioning that you are a chartered accountant. You know, see that good judgment is used, and request approval before, you know, you tell that the company that, dear company, before you publish a prospectus, get my approval once, show me how you are including my name. Okay, because the firm name and all should not be included in the prospectus. My firm name and all should not be included. I'm a director, you just mention, and you can also mention that I'm a chartered accountant, no problem. Next, CA firms, no, you can register with a network. Logos, we have a logo related guidelines, council guidelines is there. There we'll discuss in depth about logo. Okay, here I didn't discuss logo because already in depth discussion is already given. And remember, CS cannot use any logos, you know, which are to ensure compliance. Logos, monograms, display materials are prohibited. You cannot use any logo. Yes or no, that's it. And what are the common CA logo? You can have a common CA logo, no problem. What is a common CA logo? We will discuss in the council guidelines. Appa, that's it. Part number 1 completed. You know, part number 1 completed. So what is part number 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 5, 6, 7. These are the classes we completed, clauses. So what is clause number 1 says? A CA in practice is guilty if at all. Okay, let me do one thing. Why to waste time? First let us finish remaining points, and then we will do a mind mapping clause number, all the tree collection. Next, directly I'll move to, if you remember part number 2 I already completed, part number 4 I already completed, just part number 3 is pending. Part number 3 alone is pending right now in schedule number 1. Part number 3 is pending. What is part number 3? Guilty of professional misconduct. Yeah, professional misconduct for members generally. Professional misconduct for members generally. So what is this? A member, no. Yeah. A member, no. A member of the institute, whether in practice or not. You are actually not a FCA, but you are showing as an FCA to the public. You are treated as guilty. Actually, we have already saw this point before. A person who is not a member but showing himself as a member, a person who is not in practice but showing himself as a practice, 1000 rupees penalty first time, 5000 second time. Their guilty is not there, technically speaking. Okay, but that will also be treated as guilty under schedule number 2. I will discuss later. Next, you know, so here what is this clause number 1 is talking about? Actually, I'm not in, I'm in practice, I'm an ACA, or I'm not in practice, but I'm showing to public as an FCA. I am not an FCA, but showing as an FCA. Clause number 1, part number 3, schedule number 1, violation. Then next one, clause number 2. Sir, ICAI, Institute Council, committees, disciplinary directorate, quality review board, appellate authority, board of discipline, disciplinary committee, they are calling for some information, sir, but I'm not giving. I am not supplying the information called by them. You are treated as guilty. Remember, you are only not supplying. You are not supplying. Suppose if you give wrong information, false information you supplied, then it is scheduled to clause number 3. I think clause, just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Generally I will discuss this there. If at all you are giving wrong information to ICAI, then that's a schedule to offense which is even more severe. Schedule to offense even more severe. There I will connect you. There I will connect you. Now look at this. So what are the council decisions? This is nothing. This is not a big deal. Okay, this is not a big deal. Giving false information. Sir, I am giving false information. Sir, just now you said false information schedule to false information to ICAI Institute, all that, yeah. Okay, here I'm giving false information to others. Here we are giving false information to others. So others means what? A member shall be treated as guilty if at all he is providing knowingly any false information, while asking work from another CA, while responding to tenders, or while advertising through write-up, or information you are giving something you know that it is false, so you are misleading people, then you are treated as guilty under clause number 3 of part number 3 of first schedule. That's it. Entire this particular schedule 1 is completed. Now I will discuss schedule 2. I will discuss schedule 2. By the way, part number 3 has 3 clauses. 1, you are not an FCA but acting as an FCA, guilty. Part number 2, ICAI is calling for information you are not giving. Part number 3, you are giving wrong information to others. Now let's look at part number 2. Okay, part number 2, this is part number 2, schedule number 2. Members, a member is treated as guilty if at all you are failing to comply with the CA Act and any regulations thereunder. If at all you are not complying with the act and regulations, you are treated as guilty. Suppose I open a branch office after 50 kilometers, I didn't appoint a separate in charge. Naturally, CA Act is violated. Clause number 1 will apply. Part number 2 of schedule number 2 will apply. You know what? Any offense you do, schedule 2 will attract. Any offense you do, all these days, I don't know how many of you have this clarity. Any mistake you do in CA Act, any mistake, sir, I did advertisement, sir. Clause number 6 violation, part number 1, schedule number 1. Not only that, you indirectly violated clause number 1 also, because that's a violation of CA Act and regulations thereunder. So if you're violating with CA Act and regulations thereunder, naturally clause number 1, part number 2, schedule number 2 also will attract. Write this also in exam. Whenever you are writing, which means every guilty case, other misconduct, a professional misconduct, branch office provision, some other provision, COP provision, doesn't matter. Any guilty case, naturally schedule number 2, clause number 1, part number 2 will apply. Mention that also in the exam as an additional point. In one of the question in ICAI book itself, they gave this particular reference. One actual clause, some clause number 11 is violated, but they also mentioned clause number 1 because you are failing to comply with CA Act. So better you write this part number 2, clause number 1 in every guilty case. This, I think many of you don't know this. If at all you discover this point for the first time, give me appreciation, like, just comment it. Okay, I'll be happy to see. Next, remember in part number 2, sorry, in schedule number 2, part number 1, there is one first clause is a schedule 2. We have not yet started part number 1, schedule 2. Okay, in that clause number 1, that talks about confidentiality for practicing CS, whereas part number 2, clause number 2, part number 1, clause number 1, part number 2, clause number 2, this is talking about confidentiality by members in employment. Suppose you are a member in employment, you also have to maintain confidentiality. That's it. Then, however, if at all you are leaking, you are giving company data to third party, employer data. If at all consent is obtained, no problem. Okay. This clause follows principle of agency. Very simple. You must keep information confidential. Remember, I told you one point. Clause number 3. What is this? If you recollect once, schedule 1, part number 3, clause number 2, clause number 3 fails to provide information to ICAI, false information to others. These are all schedule number 1. Whereas here it is what right now, part number 2, clause number 3, schedule number 2. What is this talking about? False information to ICAI. Sir, if you are giving false information to ICAI, schedule 2 of it. They are asking information, you are not responding. Schedule 1 it is. Okay. So, schedule 1, part number 3. See, failing to give information. No. It may be a member in practice or may not be a member in practice. So, automatically part number 3 will apply. Yes or no? You did not mug up, it is part number 3, part number 3. In that, clause number 2 is talking about failing to give information. Clause number 2 is talking specifically about failing to give information to ICAI, giving false information to others. Whereas schedule number 2 talks about giving false information to ICAI. Sir, I am giving false information to ICAI, sir. Schedule number 2. False information who will give? Only practice CS can give. Members cannot give. Anybody can give. So automatically part number 2. And giving false to ICAI means it's a professional activity. So automatically part number 2. And part number 2 has 4 clauses. First clause is talking about, what is the first clause? Failure to comply with CA Act. Second clause is talking about employees. Third clause is talking about giving false information to ICAI. That's it. So giving false information to institute, council, committee, board of discipline, you are treated as guilty. And yeah, here they have given some points. Here they have given some points. Okay, here one of the member failed. A member made a false statement. Said, this particular clause number, this particular clause number 3, part number 2, schedule 1 apply. A chartered accountant claimed to be a partner. Okay, he claimed, which is a false claim. Automatically clause number 3, part number 2, schedule number 1. Failed to reply to institute in spite of reminders. That is also treated as guilty under schedule 2. But actually first clause might apply, because here you are failing to give information. So according to me, it is first clause. Here it's a wrong point which is given. And you received money of the client. You defalcated. Embezzlement of the client money. Disrepute to profession. If you do defalcation of money received, no, it might also attract schedule number 1, part number 4, clause number 2, bringing disrepute to the profession. That's it. Schedule 2 also majorly over except part number 1, which has 10 clauses. If those 10 clauses are completed, we will do one brush up of all this 34 clauses. Then we'll go to council guidelines. Only important guidelines I will cover next. Okay. Now schedule 2, first part. I will briefly discuss this. No much complication. First part. A CA in practice, guilty of professional misconduct if you disclose information relating to client. Exception: consent of the client is there, no problem. Required under law, compulsory to disclose, no problem. Or you have a duty to disclose with the peer review or all that as part of standards complaints, no problem. Can a CA disclose working papers? You don't have any duty, but you may give portions thereof to others. That's your choice. Then if there is a legal compulsion, you can disclose. Legal requirement is there at that time and all, you can disclose, no problem and all. Okay. Then can you hide unlawful act? Your client made some non-compliance with law, severe non-compliance. In the law, you don't have any duty to report that. Then you can be quiet, no problem at all. Then fraud reporting, if at all, if there is a duty for you to report fraud, ignore confidentiality, report to central government. That's it. Clause number 1 over. Clause number 2. What is clause number 2? You are guilty of professional misconduct, a CA in practice. By the way, schedule 2 part 1 is only talking about CAs in practice. A CA in practice is treated as guilty of misconduct if at all you are certifying or reporting on financial statements which are not examined. You didn't examine, you are certifying. Array, without examining, how will you certify? Which are not examined either by you or your partner or employee. Technically, your partner, if they review and you sign it, not an issue. If your employee verified it, you again should review. SA 220, the engagement partner must and should review documentation of the engagement team. If at all your employee verified, okay, and you didn't review, that amounts to gap, clause number 9 violation in the same schedule, part number 1. Okay, fine. Another CA in practice, nothing but for example joint audit is there, for example, by the way, another CA means here joint audit discussion. I mean, except joint audit means, see, in joint audit, no, I will verify financial statements. For example, I'm certifying balance sheet P&L, but full balance sheet I didn't audit. Joint auditors have audited major amount, for example. Okay, does it mean I'm signing a report without examination? No, no, no. So this clause do not apply for joint audit cases. You can't apply this clause and say guilty. That's it. Next, and a CA is prohibited if at all you are allowing your name appearing on a report that is dealing with earning estimate like projection and forecast. You are prohibited to give your name on projections and forecast. However, exception is there. You are not guilty if you clearly mention source of information, if you clearly mention forecast and assumptions clearly, and a fact, you clearly mention that I don't know whether they are really achievable or not. I did not verify, I did not vouch their accuracy. You mentioned these 3 points, then you're not guilty. Then clause number 4. A CA is guilty of misconduct if at all you're expressing opinion on financial statement where you or your firm or your partner has a substantial interest. Obviously, self-interest threat, simple. Here no, members independence. So what is members independence? Members should interpret independence more strictly than law. That's what I told. Sir, my grandfather is a director in a company, sir. Relative is not there in the relative definition, does not cover grandfather, sir. So can I accept the audit? Understand the law. You interpret strictly than the law. Principles you should interpret. Independence has to be interpreted beyond the law. Yes or no? So avoid situations where your independence will affect. Avoid situation where there is a conflict. Maintain independence applies to all latest functions. So what, how do an auditor has to check? Very simple. A CA is prohibited to accept audit of any entity where he or his partner or his firm has substantial interest. Give you examples which a CA has to consider to check his independence. Straight question might be asked 5 marks. I don't know how many of you observe this kind of answer. Next, the remaining are not that complicated. Okay, you can read them, not an issue. You please remember, this marathon is only a guidance purpose. Okay, whatever I am, many points I will not be covering because of the time constraint, all that. You should not be ignoring them. You should cover 100%. I am giving you major guidance. Now it is your turn to read after finishing this particular marathon. Then, failure to disclose a material fact known to a CA. Nothing but, something is not disclosed in financials, a material thing. I'm auditing company financials are omitting something. Non-disclosure means what? It's a material misstatement. And what happened, you know that something is missing, but you also did not report it. A CA is treated as guilty if at all he fails to disclose a material fact known to him that is not disclosed in financials. You're treated as guilty. And exception, if at all the financials are prepared for internal purposes, third parties and all is not affected, no problem. Remember, often many students do not have clarity between schedule 1 and schedule 2. Schedule 1, if you see, I should not advertise, I should communicate with previous auditor, I should not charge fees like that, I should not allow somebody to use my name, to whom I can share profit, who can use my name, whom I can let to sign on my behalf. This is about your way of practicing, how you can practice. Schedule 2, you see, client information you should not leak. You should not certify financials without verifying them. If at all you certify, many people will affect. If at all something is wrong, many will affect. You should not give projection. If at all based on your projection banker give a loan, they will lose money. Clause number 4. Yes or no? So again, clause number just a minute. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you should not sign projections. What is the purpose of why you should not sign a projection? If at all you sign a projection without clearly mentioning all the assumptions and all, without clearly mentioning all the facts, banker might give a loan to the company, and which company might default, and you are prohibited to give opinion on a company where you are having substantial interest. And you should not disclose client related information too. You should not disclose client related information. I mean, something is missing in financial statements and you know it, and you are silent on it. A CA is treated as guilty if he fails to report if he fails to report a material fact known to him which is not disclosed in financial statements. You are treated as guilty. Clause number 6. You are again treated as guilty if you fail to report a material misstatement in financial statements known to you. Sir, financials are having a material misstatement. You know it, but you didn't report it. You didn't give a modified opinion. Why? You are treated as guilty. Remember, misstatement definition includes non-disclosure. If clause number 5 and part number 1, schedule number 2 apply, naturally clause number 6 also will apply. Please make a note. Further, clause number 7. What is clause number 7? I'll come back to clause number 7 at last. Clause number 8. You are treated as guilty of misconduct if you fail to obtain sufficient appropriate which is necessary for expression of opinion. You gave an opinion, but when we see your documentation, you didn't gather evidence. Without obtaining evidence, you gave an opinion. You are guilty. Indirectly, without examining the financial statements, you are certifying. So if clause number 8 attracts, generally clause number 2 also attracts. And if both clause number 2 and 8 or any of this clause attracts, without examining, how did you? Without getting evidence, how did you sign? How negligent are you? Clause number 7 also will attract. Gross negligence. Then clause number 9. You failed to comply with GAAP when you are performing professional works. Failed to comply with GAAP means what? SQC you failed, SES you failed. When you are performing works to clients, no, you failed with standards on auditing, standards on review, something. You didn't follow standard, you didn't follow SQC, you didn't follow generally accepted auditing principles. For example, no, for listed companies, SEBI mandates peer review certificate. Peer review certificate must be there for the firm. Without you having peer review certificate, you accepted SEBI audit, listed company audit. You are straight away treated as guilty under clause number 9 because it's a GAAP violation. It's a GAAP violation. So, what constitute GAAP? You can find it on engagement and quality control statements and guidance notes, all that. Then, so a CA is treated as guilty if at all you are accepting an audit without complying, without checking compliance with the GAAP. And finally, clause number 10. What is clause number 10? If at all client is giving you money for depositing income tax, for paying to ROC, for paying to GST, all that, you should keep that money in a separate bank account, must and should. Amount received from client must be kept in a separate bank account and shall be utilized only for the purpose for which is used. Only one exception, if at all you are spending it in a short amount of time, no problem. Otherwise, keep it in a separate bank account. Suppose, sir, client paid me money, sir, that's my fees, sir, that's an advance, sir, then this clause will not apply. Money received for expenses to be incurred in a short amount of time, no problem. Money received by you as a trustee or executor liquidator, no problem. Actually, even as a trustee liquidator, if you're getting any money, no, that also should be that also should be kept in a separate bank account. That's it. Fine. So technically entire all the clauses in ethics is over. Finally, one clause is there, clause number 7. What is clause number 7? Is talking about gross negligence. A CA is deemed to be guilty of misconduct if at all he does not exercise diligence or he is grossly negligent. You are grossly negligent. You are not exercising diligence at all. You are deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. Now, technically, just like you, I also forget naturally the clause numbers. But let me try right now what are all the clauses that we covered. Then we will go to council guidelines. Okay. Now we will go to council guidelines. Now, schedule number 2. Okay. We will see. We will try my level best. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm doing at the night almost this particular video. I'm doing at night 11 o'clock. I hope my brain will be sharp. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Not an issue. Next. Part number 1. Schedule number 2, which is applicable for CAs in practice. Clause number 1. What is clause number 1? Is talking about confidentiality. A CA in practice is guilty of misconduct if at all he discloses client's information without his consent or where there is no requirement in law. Clause number 2. Without examining you have signed, you have given a report, you have certified financial statements without examining by partner or employee, guilty. Clause number 3. Clause number 4. Clause number 4. A CA who has a substantial interest in an entity and if you certify that entity financial statements, you are guilty. You are signed projections, forecast and all that, you are treated as guilty. However, you are not guilty if at all you mention assumptions, basis of information, fact that you did not vouch accuracy. Clause number 5. You know a material fact, okay, and that fact is not disclosed in financials and you failed to report this, you are treated as guilty. Clause number 6. You know a material misstatement in financial statements. You know that there is a mistake in financial statements, material. You know it and you failed to report it. Clause number 7, grossly negligent. You are not at all careful. You are not exercising diligence when you are performing the work. You are grossly negligent. Clause number 7. Clause number 8, without obtaining sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, if at all you are reporting on financials, guilty. Clause number 9. Clause number 10, failure to comply gap. Failure to comply with the gap, you are treated as guilty. Clause number 10, client money should be kept in a separate bank account. That's it. Further, part number 2, schedule number 2. Thank God, all the 10 clauses I'm remembering. Okay. Clause number 1, clause number 2, clause number 3, clause number 4. Clause number 4, defalcation of money. Clause number 3, false information to ICAI. Suppose no, you are failing to inform. You are failing to inform ICAI. Then it is clause number 2, part number 2, part number 3, schedule number 1. Sir, I am giving false information to others, sir, not ICAI. Then clause number 3, part number 3, schedule number 1. In schedule 1, part number 3, only 3 clauses were there. What is the clause number 1? You are not a fellow, but acting as a fellow. Over. Schedule 1, 3 clauses are over. Mapping done. Then now schedule 2, part number 2. Clause number 1, clause number 2. Clause number 2. Employee CA disclosing. Sorry, not this. Yeah, correct only. Correct only. Employee CA disclosing confidential information of the employer to third party without his consent. Clause number 1, CA Act regulations, you are failing. That's it. 10 over, 4 over, schedule 1, one part is over. Now part number 3. By the way, yeah, it's okay, fine. Part number 3, imprisonment exceeding 6 months, you are treated as guilty. Court or civil court or criminal court, whoever it is. Okay. Then now we will discuss, schedule number 1. Schedule number 1, just now I showed. Part number 3 over. Part number 4, other misconduct. Okay, so inside that clause number 1, clause number 2, up to 6 months imprisonment, you are bringing disrepute to the profession, clause number 2. Correct? Next, okay, part number 3, part number 4 over. Part number 2, schedule number 1. This is applicable for member in service. Clause number 1, you are allowing to pay your salary portion to somebody, a job consulting company like that, guilty. You are accepting referral fee and all from lawyers and all of the company. You are an agent. You are prohibited to accept. Guilty. Clause number 2. You are accepting as an employee. Over. Then, part number 1, schedule number 1. We have totally 12 clauses. Clause number 1. A member is deemed to be guilty if at all he is allowing somebody to use his name. However, you can allow somebody if at all he is a partner or member and practice. He's in practice and is associated with you as a partner, or he is an employee of the CA firm. They can use your firm name, no problem. Clause number 2, a CA is prohibited. A CA is treated as guilty if at all he is sharing his fees to somebody who is not a member. Exceptions, another member, another CA, a recognized body, recognized qualification, retired partner, legal representative, sale of goodwill, all that I hope you are able to recollect. Clause number 3, a CA is prohibited. A CA is treated as guilty if at all you are accepting any fees or profits from non-members. However, exceptions were given, no problem. Clause number 4, a CA is prohibited. A CA is prohibited to form partnership with anybody else. However, you can form partnerships with another CA in practice, a member of recognized body, a member having recognized qualification, all that you can form. Provided right now multidisciplinary firm guidelines are not yet given, therefore it is not permitted. Clause number 12, a CA in practice is treated as guilty if at all you are allowing somebody to sign on your behalf. If at all you allow somebody to sign on your behalf, you are treated as guilty. However, routine correspondence and all, no problem. Clause number 11, a CA in practice is treated as guilty if at all you are engaging in any additional occupation and all, you are guilty. Clause number 10, a CA in practice is treated. Clause number 10, A CA in practice is treated as guilty if at all you are accepting fees as a percentage of profit, or you're accepting fees which is contingent or based on a finding. You're guilty. But exception, so many were the liquidator, settler, trustee, valuer for direct taxes, yes or no, and you are providing some non-assurance service to non-audit client, non-assurance to non-audit, no problem. You are providing yeah, that is non-assurance to non-audit. Insolvency professional, he can charge, no problem. Yes or no? Clause number 9, a CA in practice is treated to deemed to be guilty if at all he is accepting an audit of a company without checking provisions of Companies Act. Clause number 8, a CA is treated as guilty if at all he is accepting the audit without first communicating with previous auditor. Then clause number 5, 6, 7, a CA in practice. Clause number 5, if at all you are securing professional business by through a person who is not your employee, through a person who is not your partner, guilty, or by means not open to you. What are the means not open to you? 6 and 7 talks about. Clause number 6, a CA is soliciting any client through circular, advertisement, promotion, by any other mean, you are guilty. Clause number 7, a CA is securing business. A CA, no, he advertises to secure professional business. Yes or no? To secure business, he's doing advertisement, or he's publishing his achievements and all, or he's using some other designation to attract people other than chartered accountancy. You are treated as guilty of professional misconduct. That's it. All 34 clauses I revised. Now here, where you will generally have a confusion, clause number 2, yeah, clause number 3. Which part? Part number 3 of schedule number 1. Part number 3, members generally. Schedule 2, part number 2. This is also members generally. Here clause number 3. Here you are giving false information to ICAI. Remember, you are failing to give information to ICAI. That is schedule 1. False information to others. False information to others. That is schedule number 1, part number 3, clause number 3. Again, in part 2 schedule 2, there is one clause called clause number 1. Fails to comply with the CA Act. CA Act. So these are all the cases where CA Institute is referred generally. Okay, be careful. Only these clauses generally people confuse. Again, schedule 2, part 1, clause number 10. Client money should keep separately. Schedule 2, part number 2, clause number 4. Client money you defalcated, theft, misappropriation. Both are dealing with money only. One is dealing with separate bank account, another one dealing with defalcation. That's it. All the clauses are over. Now let's discuss some important guidelines. Council guidelines we will discuss. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed until now. I hope you're clear on this. Okay. In this, only certain important guidelines I will discuss. You all know a CA has to maintain books of accounts, cash book, ledger, irrespective of his 44AA income tax limits. And a CA can accept how many tax audit assignments he can accept? 60 in a financial year. My dear, it is not per assessment year 60. Suppose 1st April 2024 to 31st March 2025. How many tax audit reports I can say in 60? 60 tax audit related due diligence only I have to generate. That's what the meaning. 60 tax audit reports I can generate. 60 tax audit reports I can sign. Sir, out of the 60, 40 only belonging to 25-26 assessment year, sir. Remaining 20 belong to 24-25 assessment year. So, which means per assessment year can I send 60? No. Full year itself 60. Again, within the 60 count, if at all you're doing any audit because of presumptive section failure is then an income declaring lesser than presumptive, those audits will not be counted. Further, if a CA is if it is a firm of chartered accountants, 60 count is per partner. Further, one partner can sign on behalf of all other partners, no problem at all. Distribution provided other partners are not signing there again. Then a similar requirement is there for company audits also. Company audits. How many companies a CA can do audit? Maximum 30. However, in this 30, 1% company and dormant company will not be counted. In case it's a partnership firm, then per partner having certificate of practice, 30 will be counted. And remember, under Companies Act, I hope you studied in your CA inter audit or CA inter company law. A CA can accept a CA, by the way, this is 30 and all is there. When? For per year? No. It is at any point of time. You shall not hold at any point of time. Right now, today you are practicing it. Today, how many companies you are having position of auditor? It should not be more than 30. As per Companies Act, it should not be more than 20. Sir, which one we should follow, sir? Both you should satisfy. Under Companies Act, private limited company less than paid up capital 100 crore not counted, small company not counted, one person company not counted, dormant company not counted. Remember, in a private company, 4 companies are not counted. So if at all your existing clients were there, identify how many were there. As per Companies Act, it must be less than 20. As per CA Act also, it must be less than 30. Both should be satisfied. Sir, any one act is failing, you should sacrifice the audits indirectly. Simple. Next, then limitation on fees for other services. Very simple. This is applicable for, this is applicable for listed companies, government companies, PSU companies, or other unlisted public companies whose turnover is 50 crore and above. If at all you are acting as an auditor for these companies, your audit fees must be more than consultancy services fee. I told you, a CA who is an auditor for a company can also provide consultancy to them, no problem at all. But how much fees are you charging for consultancy? Sir, for audit, no. For audit, no. For audit, no, I am charging some 1 crore, sir. But for MCOS to the same company, I am charging 1.2 crore. Guilty. You are treated as guilty. You are violating council guidelines. It should be maximum 1 crore. Consultancy fee shall be maximum 1 crore. Your audit fee should not be lesser than consultancy fee. Self-interest threat, yaar. That's it. By the way, now when you are counting this fees, 1 crore audit fee, consultancy fee, when you are counting this, not only firm fees will be counted. Now CS are permitted to open consultancy company, right? Management consultancy and other company. You are permitted to open management consultancy and other company, right? That consultancy company is providing consultancy service to the client. How much fee they are charging, how much fee you are charging, firm is charging, both total it. Total fees for other services should be less than or equal to audit fees the firm is charging. More in depth about this, if at all my regular class or fast track students were there, I told in the class very clearly how this exactly works. Then again, network firm. This is for what? Just a minute. Again, for example, firm 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 firms were there, which are part of some network called KPMG. I have a client called TCS. This firm has one company also. Okay, some private limited company is there which is providing management consultancy and other services. Repeat this part. No, once you watch, if you do not understand this part, you repeat watch again, you will get it. This firm one is providing TCS audit, stat audit, where they are charging 1 crore fee. This firm one plus private company, both of them put together also providing management consultancy and other services. Their fees should be maximum 1 crore. Fine. Very good. This we understood right now. Sir, remaining 3 firms are there, right? We call them as network firms, right? They are providing services to TCS, sir. What about this? They can provide consultancy, no problem, but it shall be less than or equal to 3 times of stat audit fee which is charged by firm number 1. Sir, firm number 1 is charging 1 crore, sir. 3 is equal to totally 3 crore. Maximum fees for other services that can be charged by network firms cannot exceed 3 crore. That's it. This is this particular information which I told, no, network firms, that is there in the network guidelines. Okay, that's it. Technically speaking, major portion I have covered here. Major portion I have covered. Now, sir, can a member in practice, can he be indebted to the company where he want to be an auditor? Prohibited. Of course, up to statutory limit. For example, in Companies Act, up to 5 lakhs is permitted, no problem. Sir, I am doing audit of a partnership firm, sir. In the partnership law, there is no limit, sir. Then 1 lakh limit is applicable. Can a CA receive fees on a progressive basis? Absolutely yes, no problem at all. Next, UDIN. UDIN, I hope, very easy topic. Guidelines for networking, I'll come back to it. Logo guidelines. Sorry. I hope you're all aware of it. The institute has brought something called a new logo, CA India, and blue color symbolizes creativity, integrity, knowledge, trust. Tick that indicates wisdom, value of the profession. India shows our commitment to Indian economy. You should not alter this logo. Same dimensions you must use. You can make a logo bigger, but dimensions, proposition should be same. That's it. Color palette also, the same colors you must use. You should not change the colors also. Then Then logo guidelines are over. Guidelines for corporate form of practice. Very simple. What is this? A CF, can a CA be a managing director, whole-time director in a company? Yes. Which company? Management consultancy and other company. CS, no, firms, no, they can incorporate a company also. The same partners will be directors and shareholders. You can have 100% shareholding, no problem at all. That company should engage only in consultancy and other services, should not engage in any other activity. That too, that company must be approved by institute, name must be registered. Remember, you cannot practice in the name of the company, attestation and all. A body corporate is disqualified, no, in a company. Exactly. Next, ethical compliance. The company must also comply with clause number 6 and 7. The company cannot accept any internal audit, bookkeeping, 144 services where you are actually auditing or acting as an auditor. All that, that's it. The company can only engage in management consultancy and other services. Finally, one last topic, network firms. If this is over, ethics revision is over. Guidelines for networking. What is a networking? You know, network is nothing but a structure. Okay, it's a large structure aimed at cooperation. Okay, third party generally feels that all of you are related to one particular brand. That's how it's called as a network. What do you mean by a structure? A network is a structure is deemed to be a network. A group of firms is deemed to be a network when they're doing some profit or cost sharing. Common ownership is there, common quality control is there. Okay, common business strategy, most importantly common brand name, common quality control, sharing significant professional resources. These are most important points. So they may ask you a 4 or 5 marks question. What do you mean by significant professional resources? Means common systems they are sharing, common staff, partners and staff, technical department is there, audit methodology, training courses is there. How a network can be? It can be either a company, it can be LLP, it can be partnership firm. You know what? Network, no. Firms will use the word EndCo associate. Network can use only the word affiliates. And remember, a firm is allowed to join only one network. It may be Indian network or it may be international network. And again, multiple firms which have common partners, these firms, all of them should join again only the same network. That's it. Network name registration not required from exam point of view also generally, but we don't know. Considering the exam pattern now, anything can be asked, but that's an easy question. Ethical compliance. For the firm performing stat audit, it follows earlier guidelines. For other firms in the network, other network firms, they are not stat auditors of the company. The non-audit fee cannot exceed 3 times the stat audit fee. We know that. Just now we saw. Yes or no? Then network must establish bylaws. This itself can be asked as a 5 marks question. Like, what are the bylaws? Committee formation must be there, membership fee for the network, identify a partner, dispute settlement process, developing material, newsletter, softwares, all that. These are the bylaws which a network has to. This question can be asked as a straight 4 or 5 marks question. That's it. Entire this, entire ethics is over. Finally, some ethical standards board decisions were there. Okay, these decisions you read, again I told, right, many of these decisions are contradictory. They are not very clear. But I told you, these are all various judgments. These are not exactly 100% rules. These are just judgments given. Okay, that's it. Then in this, something I felt is ASM. It's okay. I think this is something that you can do on your own. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay, just read this on your own. You will get it. That's it. Almost within 3 hours. This is totally 3 hours to be spent on professional ethics, and I think I gave you amazing clarity. Okay, and yeah, somebody is asking related services, assurance services. Yes, I'm doing every day. I'll be doing, and I'll be merging entire this video again. I will post it. That's it. Okay, continue watching, continue learning. That's it. All the very best.